in the night. Don't stop believing. Hold on to the chorus bar. We like people. Don't stop.
What's the bottom of the water?
So if it's not For Kids and Funny and all these other companies who are going after you guys, who's
Who's taking the channel down?
Yeah.
The people who are taking the channel down are actually an artificial intelligence on YouTube who flag footage if it's recognized by this completely, it's an automatic system that's in place. It's a robot basically that looks at the footage and says this is an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a parody of an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! So I submit a counterclaim afterwards. Hello, Joker. I submit the counterclaim, and within 2 weeks it goes back up. So I know it's protected under fair use because otherwise they would just keep it down. And that's another point, is that it's not a human being that's going after the videos, it's an artificial intelligence, and it's unfortunately a guilty until proven innocent system. But unfortunately it's either that or have like 5 people going through millions of videos every day to see if they've got copyrighted footage in. So you've got to take, it's unfortunately the only way they can do it without being completely unfair. And it's not necessarily fair, but it's the best that we've got, So
the better of two evils.
it's the better of two evils. That's a good way of putting it. Yes, right here.
Have you ever been in your acting voice all day, but you had no idea that you were in your acting voice?
Have I ever just kept talking in the same voice all day without realizing? I usually realize.
It's hard to do this all day without knowing.
Sometimes I do it intentionally. I like fooling around with my wife. Not like that.
Oh, baby. Jesus.
There is a story about that, but Okay. Are there any people under 18 here? Okay, I will tell a very PG-13 version of the story. So,
Get out of here, under 18 person.
I'll tell this story because it's one of my favorite stories and it gets a good reaction, but it's also extremely embarrassing for me. So the first time I was intimate with my wife, I apparently sounded like Mokuba. And my wife talked about this to her friends. And apparently they dared her something because the next time we were intimate, I sounded like Mokuba again. And she leaned into my ear and said, "Shut up, Mokuba."
Hi, Joey, what's up? Hi.
Have you ever been to like a drive-thru and used your voice to like freak people out?
I did order pizza as freezer one time. I asked it to arrive in exactly 5 minutes. It actually, they were very confused by it. There's a very small British guy talking to me. He sounds very nice. I will destroy you. Give me the pizza, you fool. But yeah, I've done that, and have you ever seen GX Abridged?
Yes.
I actually my last weekend in England, I was hanging out with all my friends in London, and Shady and X were in the room and we were like, you guys have to order pizza in your character voices. And Shady voiced Motimon in the Abridgemon video that we did. That set scream thing. And X voices Crowler in GX. And so we had them basically call this pizza joint as those characters. But the pizza people showed up and they thought that they were being pranked because they thought the voices were so silly. But we walked out and X and Shady stayed in character the whole time. Where's our pizza, man? What's going on? Where is our pizza? And so they were like, we're so sorry, we'll give you a bunch of free pizza for this. We're so sorry. And we're like, we just totally trolled the hell out of that pizza. We're very proud. All right, so we have about 15 minutes left. I'm going to do a couple more questions, then I'm going to show the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridged episode. For those of you who haven't seen it, it is going to be on this small screen, but I will be uploading it online tomorrow. If you don't get to see it very well, I do apologize if you don't. It's really good, I'm really proud of it, and for those of you who again, if you don't get to see it, it'll be on Yu-Gi-Oh! YGOTAS.com tomorrow morning. All right, right here on the front row.
if you were transported onto Kaiba's blimp during Battle City,
I would
and you only
fall
had-
off.
and you only had 5 minutes, what would you do? Like, and you were transported home in 5 minutes.
What situation would arise to make this happen? If I only have 5 minutes. Bloody hell, that's a good question.
Make out with who's like
Make out with who? Make out with Bakura? What?
I would push Kaiba off a blimp.
Push Kaiba off the cliff. And then just stand around for 5 minutes being like... Of course it's like... It's going to take 5 minutes for him to land, you know? I don't know, I guess I would just ask, I would just be like, he's a pharaoh, accept it, Kaiba, you're a dick, you know? Something like that. I would spoil the show for them, that's what I would do. I would read 30 Shades of Gay to them, that's that. Right, yeah. Where am I from? Originally from the northwest of England, a place called Knutsford. It's just outside of Manchester. There's nothing there. I left very quickly. But it was the place where they invented the Rolls Royce, and that's about it. Let's give you trivia for the day, absolutely. We're going to have time for one more, and then I'm going to show the episode, and if we have any more time after that, I'm going to try and do more questions. Waving with the attack on Titan, I think it is the uniform, yes.
You said earlier that you played Nylon on Tower.
No, yes.
Did you personally like the Nylon theme song?
You want me to sing the Nylon theme?
No, did you personally like it?
Do I like it? Yeah, it's great. Although it's funny, I actually had to sing that. You mean the Nylon Dragon of Destiny? I had to sing that twice because the first time Kurt gave me notes that were like Nylon Dragon of Destiny. I couldn't quite reach them, but because of that, I recorded a lower version, and then I sent him the Russell Crowe version, which was Nylon Dragon of Destiny. Control him, John.
Can you sing the Pokemon theme in Merrick's voice?
Definitely.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. Do, do, do. Sing along if you know the words. To catch them is my real test. Judge for them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Teach Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. Yu-Gi-Oh! Gotta play some cards. I'll summon the Summon Skull, activating Pot of Greed. Draw 2 cards. Gotta catch 'em all. Yu-Gi-Oh!
We have 15 minutes. The episode is about 8 minutes, so I'm going to play it. And if you can't see it where you are, feel free to file into the center of the aisle. I'm hopefully not causing a fire hazard. It's about 8 minutes long, so you won't have to get comfortable for too long. There we go. Where are you? You're Some of you have seen it many times, so if you have, please make room for people who haven't. Everything cool? Sweet. Here we go.